judges, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are from Yat-sen University, and today we are presenting a case about Lenovo, a PC company, and here's our outline. First, we will give you a brief introduction and a current position analysis of this company, and we will figure out the key issues, and we'll then analyze it briefly, and then we will come to our recommendation, which is about a new type of protect and attack mechanism that the company is recently applying. And then we come to a more specific implementation plan, which is a Gantt chart fitting into short-term and long-term plans. And in the end, we will come to a risk matrix to analyze the risks. And here's our first part about the introduction.
Morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lenovo time. And Lenovo bought IMB in 2004 and forced Dell to trail behind in early 2030. So Lenovo has a strategy transition challenge whether to maintain the protect and attack strategy, or to make some adjustments to this strategy to make profitable and sustainable together. So we will give an analysis from two aspects: the product and the market scope. The product we will divide into two categories. The current product means traditional industry, PC industry, and the new product means, smartphones, tablets, notebooks industries in China. And from the market scope, we want to make our traditional PC industry overseas to gain a profitable and sustainable development. And also, we want to make our smartphones, notebooks, and tablets overseas gain sustainable and profitable at the same time. And what exactly the recommendation is, please.
And our recommendation for Lenovo is that recently it's applying protect and attack mechanism, and our new suggestion is to also use the protect and attack, but it's different because the name of our new mechanism is called protect aggressively and attack cautiously. And why is that? Because for the current product and current market, which is the PC products in China, this market is recently facing potentially facing really intense competitions, rivalry among the other foreign companies like HP and other companies like Apple, which is very high tier. And also there are so many very local cheap brands in China, and these companies can offer a PC almost just slightly over 1,000 RMB, and which is really cheap. Although they're not their quality may be not as good as Lenovo's, but they can actually attract a lot of customers. So we think that the competition, it will become more and more intense in the future. So if we just protect our current share, the largest share in China, and we just stay fine with it, it will be a huge potential threat. So we think that we should actually protect aggressively. And so to do that, we think that it's really not clear. So our recommendation is that we should put more efforts to strengthen our largest share position recently in China. We will do that by building an image, a really corporate responsible, really social responsible corporate in China. We need to build that image that can arouse the patriotic feelings and also make Chinese people proud of this company. so that we can compete with foreign competitors and also those who doesn't have a really commitment to the society and quality. So and others, since there was a brand split of Think, which is the IBM line, and Think and Lenovo, original Lenovo. This become two tiers of the company, and we think that it has applied that brand split really well. So we think we should continue that brand split, and we should focus on two tiers of market. And for the first tier, the higher tier, the Think line, we think we should cooperate with enterprises more. Like we've just some of us have just interned at Ernst & Young, and all the employees there use Think. And we think that that kind of cooperation may be really profitable for Think to develop in the future. We should cooperate with more enterprises, multinationals, and furthermore. And for the Lenovos, we think we should still focusing more on the rural and second-tier cities, because the large cities in China and also in the developed countries, the market is actually really saturated. So we should explore more to the rural areas, and we should do that to by building a social enterprise, not social enterprise, but a social responsible enterprise. We should do more philanthropic events as another kind of advertisement, and we should also continue to develop and educate the rural users of the PC skills, and also we should cooperate with rural schools and schools in the second-tier cities. We should provide them with cheaper PCs to. It's actually a win-win model, because we can actually boost the economy and the education in that kind of areas in China. And as for our attack strategy, please.
As for our attack strategy, we focus on mainly 2 points, as we see in the background of Lenovo. First, it has spent a lot of resources on doing promotion activities globally, and it also helped to build the international global brand. However, he fails to do it, even though he spent a lot of cost. We think this is why, because it has spent all of its resources on a too broad a scope, but does not have a specific focus. Then we think Lenovo should focus on the emerging markets, and also this is because the emerging market is now saturated at this time, and also like in other developed areas, like in the US and other developed countries, they already have many brands like Dell and HP, which has already conquered the whole market at the lower class level, which the Lenovo aims at. So it is quite competitive to compete directly against these competitors. So it's better for us to shift our focus on the emerging markets. And second, we will focus on strengthening our brand split. That means the split between the Lenovo and the Think. Because when we want to attack the new market, it's better for us to create a very clear product image for the customers, and we should make it clear that Lenovo creates one kind of special product that is for the lower class. Market, and this will make people easy to remember the brand name, and also make it easier for us to create our products in a specific field. And so we will strengthen our branding cost when we are trying to attack cautiously overseas. So now, how we will achieve our goals to achieve these objects? We will focus on mainly 3 parts. First is about marketing. First, we will have the market segmentation. That means when it refers to the emerging markets overseas, we will mainly focus on some rural areas and the second and third tier cities. This is because Lenovo is is focused on the lower class products. So it's better for us to focus on these customers which will be attracted by the lower price of our products. And also when it comes to the developed market, we think we will tighten our focus on the developed markets as the reasons I've mentioned. And however, we will try to attract the attention of the institutions, like the educational institutions in the US, because we think the institutions would focus more on the whole cost of the products, but not focus on whether the brand name is a high level class brand or lower level. So, and also if we gain the customers from the institutions, it's better for us to gain a big sale at each deal. So we will try to focus on institutions in developed markets. And second, we will focus on global advertisement, as we've already acquired some new companies in the emerging markets, like in Brazil, and the company will at Brazil, which will hold the Olympic Games and also the World Cup in the future. And we will focus more on these big worldwide events and try to do our promotion activities during this period. And after that, we will focus on the strategic alliances. We think apart from the acquisitions we've already done, we will also create some partnership and joint venture corporations in the emerging markets with the local organizations, distributors, and also the technology research centers. And after that, we see we will improve our management team as well. We see from the numbers that the Lenovo top level management team only has they have 5 management members from China and only about and totally 11. That means they only have around 6 international management members around. However, because now our strategy is focused on the emerging market, so it is quite important for us to understand the local cultures in different countries and see the market need and consumers' demand from the international perspective. So we will try to recruit make our management team more internationally, like recruiting new management members from a new country, like from Brazil or from some countries from the South America. And also, we will try to localize our management team. That means we will provide them with the background cultural training for them, and also provide the product information for them from different countries. And after this, we will try to achieve our attack and strategy in 3 phases.
Okay, the 3 phases is just like our market segmentation, like this in China and in overseas markets about our PC and other products. And as for PC in overseas market, we'll focus on emerging economies and also developed economies. And for emerging economies, we think we should focus more on retail markets, because comparing to HP or Apple, actually we have a competitive advantage because we have lower prices, since China is a global market, as we all know. So we have lower prices with our cost. And as for the retail, the distribution cost, we should try to venture or partner with local distributors or retailers to minimize our cost. So, and as for developed economies like US or European countries, we should focus more on institutional users, because actually entering a market like US is really difficult, and after several years of trying, actually the effect is not as good as we thought it would be. In America, in US, this company Lenovo has raised like from 5% of market share to recent 7% market share after the acquisition of IBM. But the change is really trivial, and we think that after it has already spent more than $1 billion to invest in the promotion and advertisement issue campaigns, the effect is really not as good as it should be. So we think if we focus more on the institutional users, such as schools or government or corporates, enterprises, we can gain, since they are more price sensitive because they're going to purchase at a really large amount, but they're not very brand sensitive. And since we are the #1 PC retailer worldwide, it will be a really good guarantee of our quality. So it should be really persuasive for them for us to let them buy our PC in a really large scale. So that's that part. And as for phase 2 and phase 3, as for the 4 screen is so-called 4 screen. What is 4 screen? It's the smartphones and tablets and etc. Those new gadgets that we all have today nowadays, and we focus on the China market and overseas market of those items. And for the Chinese market, we think that we should develop more about. We should cooperate with some enterprises and outsource the R&D and distributions in China, since we recently focus more on PC, and PC has like 90% of our revenue. So as for those other items, if we have to establish another distribution channel or R&D center, it will be really costly. So we prefer more outsourcing and partnership in that area. As for attacking the smartphones, tablets to overseas markets, it will be a rather long-term plan. So maybe after 8 or 10 years, that will be our considerations at that time. But now, actually, we also need to do it, and we have already done it, like acquiring some smartphone companies in Japan or Germany, and that's just a try. But in the future, recently, it won't be the biggest focus right now. So, and here comes our implementation.
Okay. As we mentioned before, we better focus on the emerging markets now. So as for the short-term plan, we better focus on the emerging markets such as the Asian Pacific area. We think in those kind of area we have better competitive advantages. And after our focus and development in these areas, in the long term, we are gonna achieve a wider range of market share, and then enter into such as U.S. market. And as we mentioned, we have two main. Our strategy focuses on two main stuffs. The one is market development and product development. Although we have, we know that it's not only important. It's important to bring out some ideas and suggestions, but we also notice that it's important to consider the risks. As for the market development, we need to consider when we enter into a new market, it has a higher barrier of entrance, so you may face cultural conflict and higher costs. As for the product development, we have the PC is our traditional product, and we may lack of expertise when develop other products. Also, it might turn out to some recognition confusion when we want to sell all those kind of products in a packet. And as for the risks, we analyze in a matrix and divide it into likelihood and impact, the two dimensions. And after those analysis, we come up with okay, thank you.
What were you going to recommend after this when the time clock ran out?
Well, it's just a risk matrix.
And is that the conclusion?
Conclusion.
Yeah. Is this your last chart, or where were you going after this? What's the next actions?
You want us to continue talking about the risk?
No, I don't think you should use the slides, but I just want to know where this is going, what the end is.
Yeah, after analyzing the risk matrix, we want to integrate all those parts together. Our main strategy that is protect aggressively and then attack consciously. That's what we want to emphasize on. And after we know that it's really important to come up with a solution, and that is the attack, protect and attack. And after that, we analyze the risks and want to involve the risk into the strategy and further better to consider our strategy and make it more perfect.
Okay. I have some other questions, but you want to? One of the strategies that you referred to is the retail strategy, if I'm not mistaken, in the developed markets. So,
actually, the retail market is in emerging markets.
Okay, yes, correct. Okay, so it was in emerging markets. Now, if I look at the markets I'm familiar with, Apple have a very strong strategy in that respect. So they have fantastic retail stores, in many locations, flagships, and so on. How cost effective is it going to be to do that in those emerging markets versus protecting? That's part of your attack strategy. So versus protecting aggressively your core market. So I want to know if you had time to have done proportion of expenditure, how much would you spend on that versus how much would you spend on protection? So how significant is that? It's a very expensive strategy is what I'm getting at.
Thank you very much for your question. And we think that the essence of our strategy is protect aggressively and attack cautiously is that we should focus more on protecting the Chinese market. So we will put a larger portion at that part, maybe like the Pareto, like 80-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well you do.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay.
And like we have more than half of the market share in China, and we want to strengthen that advantage. And as for those retail markets in emerged economies, we think that actually, although Apple already has so many flagships and so many stores in those areas, still those emerged markets, the people there may not be as rich as those in developed countries, especially in Southeast Asia or even Africa or South America. These countries, the people, they're mostly middle income and they would like to purchase PC. And like in China, those high income families may purchase Apple. And Apple and Lenovo is actually very differentiated. Apple is really differentiated and Lenovo is more like cost leadership. So they're in two different market segmentation. And I don't think that would be a really huge problem for Lenovo to enter that kind of market. As for the expense, you mean the cost effectiveness?
Well, I think you've answered it. No, what I was trying to understand is what proportion of your expenditure would be in protecting your real strengths and how much are you going to adventure into these places with a retail strategy versus Apple. So I agree you should be cautious, and if you're saying 80-20, then I think you've answered my question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So on China, I have two questions. One is, you mentioned rural area. So have you anticipated any challenges for expansion into rural areas?
Since rural areas is not as saturated as the first tier cities, and the difference is really huge. There's a huge gap there, and we think that, I don't know how many years, but at least like 10 years, I think in every school, every rural school in China, they should have like more than 50 PCs at least. And that will be a huge amount mounting them all. And I think in rural families, they're starting to have more automatic farming, and they will have rising salaries also. And they will also want to have PC. And since PC is more and more, it's cheaper and cheaper these days, like just between nearly 2,000 RMB, and it's really acquirable for them. And in the future, it will be a really huge amount.
As you mentioned, for the challenges, I want to add one point. I think the distribution might be quite different between the city and the rural areas. And I want to mention an example. After the 2008 financial crisis, the government of China carried out a particular policy that they encourage the company to sell their products in the rural areas, and the government will provide some kind of discounts, and and I think the distribution channel might be different, and Lenovo can make use of this policy and to expand its sales in the rural areas.
And about the challenge, I want to add something, because one of our presenters referred just now, we want to educate our potential customers. It means in rural areas, the customers, they are potential, but they need encouragement and education. They need us. They need Lenovo to tell them this product is suitable for you. We made it for you, and if you use it, it will be better for your life, for your sustainable development, something like that.
Yeah, for example, maybe we can provide some easy understandable educational materials about PC usage of PC for the rural kids, rural youngsters. And since they do not know how to use PC and they have little awareness of that importance of the future challenges, so we think we should educate them more with a low cost, and also it's a branding strategy.
And this is also in line in the strategy. We think that we should focus on a different segment from the higher class customers like Apple, because the people from the Euro area, they would focus more on the price and also the price and quality ratio to them, rather than the brand name or whether the brand is at a high level for them.
How about internet access?
We think internet access.
Because the PC is, the usage of the PC is tied to internet.
Yeah.
Mostly, and it's growing fastly, right? So rural area, if they don't have internet access, it might be a wide area for the company to develop. So how do you anticipate any solution or cooperation to address this?
Well, just because recently at this stage, China is lack of so many infrastructures in rural areas, such as networks, Wi-Fi, or anything. The approaching the information age. So just because of that, it will be a really potential market for them. It will be at least like in 10 years. There will be internet access to rural areas. I think because this is the trend. And we can, if we make advantage of this trend, we can profit from it.
And to face this problem, we will make our plans. That means we will not broadly exist our implementation to sell our products to the rural area. That we will mainly focus at the rural area that is very close to the fast developing cities at present, and which is gaining internet access at very soon or at present, like the rural areas around Canton, Guangzhou city, which develops very fast, and now the internet access has already expanded into the third tiers town and also the rural areas. So we will shift and mainly focus on some small parts as at the very first beginning, and we will further develop this plan into other rural areas in the future, but it will be in around 3 to 5 years when the internet access goes broadly. Thank you.
Has Lenovo written off the market outside of China? And you talk a lot about how to expand, protect your dominant position inside China, expanding to the rural area. What about outside of China? Have you abandoned that and decided to just focus on China and be the dominant China player?
Well, I think that PC industry is actually declining these years, and right now, like people in more developed countries, like they like Apple's or Samsung more, those more high technology gadgets like notebooks, laptops, those things. And PC is actually will be run out in like some years. I cannot say for sure. So, and in that kind of like U.S. markets, it's really hard for some company like Lenovo to go into. it has already tried put so many efforts to enter U.S. market, but it's not as the effect is not so good. It has put so many efforts and money into it, but the U.S. customers they already has really strong local brands like the higher tier like Apple and the lower tier like Dell or HP. So it has really strong competitors there, and we think that if we focus more on the emerging economies at the lower income countries and customers, it will be more profitable at this stage. And in the future, maybe we can use our smartphones or tablets, lower price smartphones and iPhone, and tablets, lower price of tablets than iPad to enter those markets, and it will be a more mature time.
Yeah, we will focus mainly on the China market on PC recently because this is quite urgent for us. We've already seen that the Lenovo branding is falling around these years. So if the Lenovo fails to retain its core services and core products at its original market, we will not be able to gain the resources and to generate the revenue for future expansion. So we will mainly focus on the Chinese market on PC nowadays, because we hope to strengthen our core product services, and also it's quite important for us to have a main focus to create a very clear brand. However, in the future, we also see the possibly industrial structural change. That means many other devices like the tablets and also the smartphones may take the place of PC. So thank you.
Assuming that you are successful in protecting this revenue stream from China PC market, to transition into new product lines in a few years, let's say, what would you sell? What do you have in mind selling in 5 years?
That is actually really, it should depend really heavily on the technical change in the future. Just like the recent trend is like cloud computing, and maybe in the future some other things will come out. But right now we think that maybe smartphones and tablets will be a future trend, and that will be maybe a new market, emerging market in China for most users. And other changes will largely depend on the technical shifts in the future. And PC is really saturated in developed countries. Like I can assume that most countries, most families in USA, they all have a PC or two. And if they are to purchase a new one, they may want to more innovative ones like Apple, the MacBook or something like that. Not a cheaper, has a higher price quality ratio computer. So, but in emerging markets and in China, especially the rural areas, it's not saturated at all. There's still a growth in PC industry, and so maybe we can now focus on these areas, PC and the smartphones, tablets, or other new gadgets in the future in those developed countries.
So this is why we focus on the PC now to gain the profits from the existing market, and however also trying to adapt to the future trends that mean the industry may shift to other new devices like tablets. So we are trying to break into those markets in preparing for and adjust for that market if we need to make the industry section change in the future.
I think we have time for one quick question.
Well, I just want to pick up on Dr. Lowe's question, and it's the relationship of the traditional old product, which is your PC, and it's your strong base, or it's the Lenovo strong base. Now, when you were talking now, you put tablets and phones into one category. Is that just one category? And if you're a PC-based company, do you really want to go into the phone category or the tablet category, and do you see any differentiation between those two?
It is Lenovo is already going into that kind of category, and is trying to expand the market share in that kind of category.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it has 90% of its revenue generated by PC. So right now it's still a PC company. But in the future, maybe even the Chinese PC market is saturated. They have to focus elsewhere. So
Yes, okay.
it's a more further-looking strategy.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.